All right. Hi, I'm here with Queena. Queena is one of my students and she does herbal soups recipe. So she has, her parents used to run a herbs business for 50 years. And right now she's using and leveraging on those recipes and those herbs to brew soups, right? And to help protect the family's health by customizing and personalizing those herbs recipes to any symptoms that people may have, and promoting herbal soups in a very nutritious but yet tasty and accessible way, right? So Queena was actually just got interviewed by one of the journalists from the Straits Times featuring one of her herbal soups recipe, and I just wanted her to share a little bit of her experience and her, some of the learnings that she got that we just had ended the 2-hour session with Eunice, who's one of the journalists. So Queena, you want to share a little bit of your experience on what just happened?
Okay. So yeah, it's exciting. It's good learning as well, definitely. I think key takeaways. One is definitely be very clear in the message or the angle that I want to convey to the the journalists, and that also means to the readers and to the audience, right? Very clear on the mission, why I do what I do, and very succinct, right? So that they can just capture the main points. Yeah, I think that's the main thing. And the other one is just be natural. I think they are also very much human. They have their own demands, right? And it is also good for them that if you have an interesting story, or if you're doing something meaningful, something new, something fresh, then it is also very much in their favor as well, that they get to cover it. It is also a privilege for them, kind of. So just be natural. I think it works both ways. Then you also, when you're natural, then just be yourself, then you also be more genuine, come across more authentic. Right? And then I think the other thing is just do your best and just leave it to, I think, the flow of things, because so they also have their own demand. Maybe when we spoke a bit more after the interview, a bit more casual. I mean, she's not the only one who decides, right, what gets featured and how much gets covered in the paper. She has her bosses as well, and of course there are other demands, people who paid for advertising and all that. So just consider myself lucky, very lucky, of course, to have known Derek, and given the connection, then to know this journalist.
Okay, and what was some of the learning points? Because you had the privilege to actually dialogue with her one-on-one, and ask her and kind of turn things around by interviewing her now instead of her interviewing you, and just to ask her some questions, right? So what were some of the learnings that you've gotten out of that session?
So I think one of the key things for them is really they want to cover something that is fresh, something that is new, innovative, and something that maybe is supporting a good cause. So for example, I mean, there was a conversation about dropping the use of straw. So that ties in very nicely with caring for the environment and of the earth, right? Sustainability, green movement. So, and of course, especially when you are the first to do such initiative, then it is definitely very newsworthy. So it has to be something like that. So it has to be it's a big cause, a mission. People like to have that. I think people like to support something rather than just buying into the usual features or benefits of a product, right? Yeah, that's the thing. The other one is, of course, I think she being a journalist, of course, she's always in demand. So it is okay to always, if you are launching something new every month, let's say, then it's okay to keep her in the know so that you're top of mind for them. So that's important. But then don't be too desperate, I would say, right? That's the key thing. Because then if you're too desperate, then you appear too needy, then it's very creepy, Yeah, so that's the key thing. I think just as with normal people as well. So from when I listen to her, basically, it's also just like, if I were her, how would I feel? Is basically that's the same thing. Yeah, that's the key two things that I take away.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then lastly, you know, how was the experience? You know, just coming in, preparing the soups, having your photo taken, having lunch with her, and then understanding that she's also, you know, human at the end of the day. Any new insights, any change of perspective or perception of how media is like, or how journalists is supposed to be,
Yeah.
anything along those lines?
Yeah, I think definitely, definitely change your perspective. I think initially, although, you know, is again, the connection was through Derek, but still, I still always felt that, you know, there's still, I still felt they might have an A because they do have the privilege to feature you or not. So I still have that perception, and I have that assumption in my mind, right, that they have the A, you know, that they are not that people friendly, that, you know, and I always think of like they will probably come in with the perception or the position thinking that they are of the higher pedestal, right? And
But they are God.
Yeah,
Right.
not so high maybe, but
maybe one
still,
level below.
yeah,
Yeah.
right. A bit like they are the celebrity, whereas it's very hard for us to get to them. Yeah,
So
but
what
then,
have you learned, or what has changed?
yeah, so what has changed, I think, so I think as long as you have something worthy, something of value, right, and you're very clear in your message, in your why, right, then I think you then have to value yourself also, that you are newsworthy. Then, you know, it's just a matter of time that you will be noticed and get featured. I think that's the thing. Because I think she also mentioned that actually they also always look out for interesting stories. And yeah, so if you have interesting stories, especially those that support big causes, or even if you are, you know, you may not be the first one, you may not be one of the big boys, but sometimes you might do a collective pool of stories, then you may just be a small mention still, which then still good for a small brand, right? Or upcoming brand. So yeah, so I think, so basically they are just doing their job as well. So for them, because they are journalists, they need to feature stories. So I think, so it just means that just,
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because you know, journalists are always hungry for a good story, right? And if you are
correct.
able to have a match and there's
Yes.
relevancy in your story, in what they
Yes.
are covering, they will definitely feature it, right? So I
Yes,
shared this.
correct.
This is what I share and I teach also at the masterclass. That, you know, the way we engage with our customers is the exact way you should be engaging with the press and the
Yes,
media,
it's
right?
true.
So
Yeah.
the first thing we talk about is mission,
Yes.
right, in the class.
Yes.
That about knowing the why you do what you do.
Yes.
That you cannot just be there to earn money,
Yeah.
right? Then
Yeah.
then there's no reason why anyone should part with their money and buy your product and service. People are looking for a cause to support, a
Yeah.
mission to rally behind. So you need to know exactly why you do what you do, which is the mission.
Yes.
And then after the mission is to know your market.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah.
In this case, it's knowing your media, right? If you're doing a food related
Yes.
business, then you obviously target a food editor. If you're doing
Yes.
something tech, you want to target a editor that's handling tech, so on and so forth, right?
Yes.
So understanding the media is very important. Understanding the market, understanding what they do, and the field that they cover is very important, right? And now knowing that they are the right market, the right
Yeah.
media,
Yeah.
then you craft your message to feed that media, that market, right? And whatever that you say, whatever that you position, whatever you in the replies that you give to them, it's really positioned and scripted, so to speak,
Yeah.
to suit that market and the angle,
Yeah.
right? And
Right.
when you do these three things, more often than not, there is a relevance, there is a match, and they're going to feature you and they're going to talk about you, obviously. So those are the three things that my three tips today, and also the learnings that Queena has had from just 2 hours ago. So if you'd like to get onto the media, you want to find out more how to be featured on media to tell your story so that you can differentiate yourself and stand out from the competition, and in doing so generate more leads and sales I love you to get in touch with me. I love to show you how you can do that. Alright, so thank you for watching. See you.